everybody little tapping with the pot with Tigmatic.
Y'all tune into the Pop Podcast. And guess what? There's an episode of me on
and you are tuned into the Pot Podcast.
And with the Pot Podcast with my boy Tigmatic. You hear me? It's going down.
To follow the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic.
That's that number one.
That's that number one.
Catching a wave, sun shining all on our faces. We done been all type of places. Travel the world, we look down on the world. Clouds in the sky, I make you feel so alive, yeah. Baby, no worries, no cries, yeah. I put you onto the vibe, yeah. It's no better feeling than you being next to me. Leaving footsteps in the sand on the beach. Ocean view with the world in your reach. Float away like a boat on the sea. What you want, happiness is the key. Wind blowing, got you feeling like you're free. Come with me and I can put your mind at ease. Come with me and I can make you feel at peace, ayy. Ooh, wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. I say, ooh, we baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Flow like the wind and the breeze. Come and get closer to me, babe. Ooh, we baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah, girl, I come in like the tide, surfing the waves and we ride, yeah. You have the time of your life, yeah. Watching the sun as we rise, yeah. You're mesmerized, love how our spirits align, yeah. You make me feel so sublime, yeah. You got the glow, girl, you shine, yeah. Listen to the sound of water crashing on the shore. This is what it's like with a man that's mature. I can give you feelings that I know you never felt. Sitting in the sun and your heart start to melt. It's a vibration when your hand touch mine. Girl, you're so vibrant and I love how you shine. Just enjoy the moment cause it feels so divine. This the kind of vibe that everybody wants to find. Hey. Ooh, wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. I say, ooh, wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah, flow like the wind and the breeze. Come and get closer to me, babe. Ooh, wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah, ooh, wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. I say, ooh, wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah, flow like the wind and the breeze. Come and get closer to me, babe. Ooh, wee, baby, let's go vibe in the sunshine. Yeah.
Astronauts report it feels good.
Oh man, that's curry. What did I do last night? Yeah.
Woke up, broken in the motherfucker, looking in the mirror, wanna throw up. Kill a couple butters, spend a dollar, bottom like so what? Don't believe, just watch like a Elon rocket, I'ma go up. Watch me blow up. Woke up, broken in the motherfucker, looking in the mirror, wanna throw up. Kill a couple butters, spend a dollar, bottom like so what? Don't believe, just watch like a Elon rocket, I'ma go up. Watch me blow up. Man, I ain't never been poor, but I might have been broke with a killer hangover, the vitamin store. Like what I did last night, but now no. Man, I tell you this here, man, I drink no more. Now I smoke no more, and I fuck that whore. Or maybe I dare, who that in my bed? Looking like a gram, and it must have been a man. Call an ambulance, I can't feel my leg. Don't feel that walk, didn't see my walk. Gon' see on flow like a scene I dog. Try to find my shit, and in no time spent. Got 30 minutes, call promoters on my leg. Like Monday, moolah, be your mommy like a hula. Bust a few maneuvers, now they war, I'ma do it. I'ma do it. Another corner like a hornet, but I'm no longer selling them rocks or E. Locked in engineer, slinging Spotify dreams. Cost 5,000 cents, wanna take my pick. Got a diarrhea, flow talk, constant shit. I'm a ostrich hitch, cause I got a lot of neck. White middle age, women dig a ram like I'm an net. But I taste like Skittle, what's a Jacob with a kitty in the middle, got me spending on my bread. Woke up, broken in the motherfucker, looking in the mirror, wanna throw up. Kill a couple butters, spend a dollar, bottom like so what? Don't believe, just watch like a Elon rocket, I'ma go up. Watch me blow up. Woke up, broken in the motherfucker, looking in the mirror, wanna throw up. Kill a couple butters, spend a dollar, bottom like so what? Don't believe, just watch like a Elon rocket, I'ma go up. Watch me blow up.
Spend about a dollar, bottom like so what? Don't believe, just watch like a Elon rocket, I'ma go up. Watch me blow up.
All right, folks, we're here. Welcome to another edition of the Podcast with Tigmatic, and it's your boy. Listen, I hope y'all feeling good today on this Wednesday. I'm feeling great. This episode was brought to you by Hollywood Radio, Hollywood TV, Hollywood Music, Dollar Radio, and Going In Radio. So what's up, y'all? I hope y'all feeling good out there. Like I said, I'm feeling great. I have my guest here today. He is a filmmaker, an engineer, a producer, and many other things of all sorts. So before we get into it, I want y'all to know he's a cool dude. I think so. That's why I'm bringing him on here today. So without further ado, I give you Germar Derron. What's going on, good brother?
Hey man, how you doing? I hope I did that right. And you couldn't see me, but I was smiling when you said I was a cool guy, or whatever. But how you doing?
I'm good, man. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let me fix that. All right, there we go. Welcome, man. All right, so I'm going to give you your solo dolo, Cam, and you already know you've watched the show. So the floor is yours. Give the world an introduction for those that don't know.
Very cool. I'll try to keep it brief. I always say that because it could go in a million different ways. But
hey, man, we got time today.
Hey, that's fair. I love that. We get the full experience. No, so I just started calling myself a generalist, which is a term that a lot of artists use. I kind of don't like it because it's not specific, generalist, but it also fits me because I'm somebody who's done a lot of different things. So I've been working in the sort of arts, technical production realm for my entire life, got multiple degrees in the field. And wherever it is in music industry, film, theater, any type of production events, behind the scenes, on the mic, in front of the camera, I've been that person pretty much since age 7. And one thing I like to tell people a lot is true, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever. I can see it both ways. The bigger the production, the smaller my role. So if it was a Marvel movie, I might have been there, but I might have been an extra in the background. But if it was some cool show you liked at your local venue, that might have been my show. And something that people have pointed out recently, and I really think about a lot, is that in a way I'm really fortunate because there's a lot of people, a lot of artists, a lot of technicians, a lot of producers, etc., that don't get to spend their whole life in the industry. So I never got my Spike Lee thing happening. I never got my Timbaland thing happening. But I have been able to live and support myself for decades doing what I love to do.
Oh, man, that's cool. So why don't you give the people a list of some things that you have done? Give them a little small rundown, if you will.
Cool. So I will just say some of my productions. What I am and what I am best at is producing. And for people who don't know, very briefly, it is making it happen, managing the process for everybody else. So when they say this is your film, usually they're talking about the director. And maybe it's the director, writer film. But in film, as a producer, I am making it happen for everybody else's film. So I think that is my favorite, or some of the biggest, or things that you can go find right now. There's a movie, Randy's Canvas, which is probably on every platform. I know at one point it was exclusively on Amazon, but I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube or whatever now. I'm one of the co-producers of Randy's Canvas, award-winning film about a young artist who is autistic. And then there is a short film I made, or I should say produced, again, where I was sole producer, or main producer. Also, both of these films kind of out of LA. Is We Want Some, and you can find that on YouTube as well. Another sort of made it to a couple film festivals, won some awards. Again, not something that I wrote and direct, but that film is about a couple who their relationship isn't happening, in the bedroom. at the time, and so the guy like goes on strike. Like, you're not doing your part, I'm not doing my part, and the whole neighborhood gets behind it, and all the women and men, and gay people and lesbians and everybody gets mad, and they split up, and they have this kind of big neighborhood debate about like, hey, I do this, and this, and all I want is to come home and see some boobs, and so whatever happens there, and that was a fun and a good time. That was a good time. And then the last thing, I'll just give you the three. I believe in doing things in threes generally. One of the things that it is a Germar Derron film is The Box. And I don't think you can find that anywhere right now, but you can definitely find the trailer. And that's got an interesting story. Maybe we'll go into it later. But that's a small, short film. I think it's 23 minutes long. And it is about these three teenagers from very different backgrounds, different races, and they all end up in the same therapist's office. And basically you kind of see what the life of a teenager is like and how they have more in common than they might imagine. And so those are the three things that I go to in that film realm that is kind of recent projects of mine.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And filmmaking is always a great thing because you get to share experiences and stories through art.
Definitely.
And what you do, I think is pretty dope, man. So let's get into it. How does your mental health influence your creativity and storytelling process?
That is that's interesting. I've done so many different shows and my own shows, and I don't think I've had that question or talked about it. And it is a big question, and probably we could do an hour on just that specifically. Like legit. I think that for all of us creatives, and I'm generalizing, but I feel pretty confident about it, there often is trauma. There's often some sort of mental health situation. And it's probably the healthiest way and the healthiest thing that we all have to get whatever off your chest. It is almost like therapy. And I believe in therapy, and I've had therapists my whole life. But honestly, I don't know if anything been as good as me playing saxophone or getting pen to paper or going into a practice room or a studio. So I would say, especially with like my films, like The Box is one of them. Right now, what I'm doing between my movies and my plays is I am kind of revealing layers of my life. I'm telling my story throughout my life, not so subtly or secretly. And it is a way to, without constantly crying on social media, bothering your friends, and especially for people going through similar situations and younger people, to say like, here is the path I walked and I wish I had not walked, or here's how I came out of that. And also entertain you. Also, you'll laugh, you'll get something from it. And so like for a lot of people, like if you go to therapy, one of the things they're doing now, it's really hot now, is journal. You got to journal.
Absolutely.
Everybody's telling you that. You got to journal. And I have not.
One.
You got one? All right. So I've never gotten into it. I'm not against it. And what I tell counselors is like, I'm not anti-journaling, but I think that's what happens when I write my script, is that's my journaling. So I'm still getting it out there. And I think I say all the time, like I just picked up saxophone a couple years ago, again, I should say. And I tell people all the time, like, I think that's it. That's probably what keeps me from having to take Wellbutrin or whatever it is, although I'm not against any of that. So that would be kind of the connection, is that my outlet and that thing that gets those chemicals balanced. I don't know all that stuff about serotonin and dopamine and all those things. It's definitely the art and telling the story is what does it for me, for sure.
For sure. All right, man, that's cool. I think that journaling is definitely one of the great ways to get things out. But if you have the talent like yours, you're getting it out in so many different forms and different shades, because you get to not only express what you feel, but then tell stories through your mind.
For sure.
And that works in a lot of ways. And that goes a long way because it helps you de-stress as well, I'm sure.
Definitely. I mean, I just couldn't do it without it. We can go back like years ago when I was in college, and that would be, I don't know if it wasn't a low point. I mean, college was fine, but like, I'm still on that mental health track. You can always cut me off if I go too long or if I stray too far.
Do your thing, brother.
All right, cool. I just going back to college and what I know, the little bit I know about mental health is that they say that as we come out of adolescence, like somewhere around 23, 24 years old, whatever it is for you, that's kind of when you have that break. Like if you're going to be bipolar and it's not diagnosed, if you're going to be schizophrenic or multiple personal whatever, or narcissism, whatever kind of issue you're going to have, and you haven't already been diagnosed, haven't had issues, as you come out of adolescence, that's when your brain kind of sets and forms and stuff. So for me at that time, luckily I didn't like have a full-on breakdown or a psychotic break like some of my friends did, but I did start to realize some things about my family and my upbringing and my life and everything I thought I knew. And for me, what I did was I was getting up every day at 7 a.m. and working on beats. I was producing music videos. I was writing stuff. I wrote a big long letter to my family and stuff. So it has just always been that thing for me where like, oh man, things ain't working. It's not going right. I'm feeling kind of weird. Let me go sit down with a laptop. How can I do something about this creatively? And it does give you that release. And when the things come together and when you see a project finished and then you got to edit it, and I do everything, right? So I'll film. I try not to ever act, but I can act. I'll write it. I'll edit it. I'll do post-production. I do sound and that whole process, just like a lot of people that like to cook or whatever, but doing that work, it really, you just really get to, I'm just like, everything comes out of you. And in the end, good or bad, just completing it means so much. I think it gives you whatever it is you need to make it to that next thing that you need. It's a good process. I've been fortunate that I've been able to do that actually.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. So, which one do you like more? Do you like engineering more, or do you like editing more?
That is, I think I do have the answer actually. People have asked me that for 20 years, and I never have an answer. And I think the answer changes a lot because it changes with me because, you change. Like, I'm nothing like I was 20 years ago. Right. But I think, overall, at this point, maybe I'm more of a director now than anything. Maybe that's where I'm
directing more.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have said that 20 years ago, but I think that's where I'm landing now is that's where I feel the most at home. That's what my talents lend themselves to. Because you're working with people, you got the creative vision, and even though I can do it all, I audio engineer on the weekends to make my money, and I do a lot of video editing and camera operation and photography. I do a lot of things, but I would definitely say directing is where I feel like, oh, I'm at home now. This is comfortable, and this is what I enjoy doing. Yeah.
Hey, not to mention you get to be the head kahuna.
Yeah, I knew that's where it was gonna lead. Like, okay, which boss do I want to be? And I was like, of all the boss roles, because as a producer, you're kind of the boss, and I'm production director, and people kind of respect you. But like I said earlier, it's the director's film, and on set, the director's called the shots. And I really do love producing, and I hope I get to produce the rest of my life, and I hope I get to production manage and production direct the rest of my life. But I think for sure now where I'm feeling at home, I never feel as at home as when I am watching the stuff come to life and I'm saying, no, hold that, give me a beat. Now come in. Oh yeah, good job. Now I'm feeling myself. That's how I used to feel in studios years ago when I was like engineering and producing, which I used to always say, like what I liked back then, again, about 20 years ago, was I was the director in the studio. And that's what my job was as a producer. I made beats. And I was an okay beat maker, but it was more about being the director in the studio and being like, we need 2 mics on that cabinet. We need to double that bass line. We need something high up there. Can somebody play some bells or some chimes or something? And that's definitely where I am always most at home at, for sure.
Okay, that's dope. So what kind of music did you produce?
So when I was like beat making, it for sure was like, I would say hip hop, R&B, maybe pop, but more for me, probably R&B. But I did a little bit of that and didn't go so far with it. You know, like a couple of years. I would say probably about 300 songs, but nothing that you hear on the radio, nothing I really did stuff with, but just up at the crack of dawn every day, just cranking out beats and Reason and with my keyboard and all that kind of stuff. But what I did do a little bit more with was the kind of the producer in the studio thing, a director in the studio thing, I should say, as in producing. And with that, I was doing Christian rock, singer-songwriter, like coffee house rock stuff. So a lot of like white folk with guitars sitting on stools. And I did a good bit with that. Like a couple of those songs made the radio, but I was working in churches too. I was in Atlanta. And so I think that's how a lot of that grew from that. It's working at like mega churches and having this like 8 years of working in churches. It's a lot of talent in churches. And I used to be that dude. I still kind of am. I still have it in me where like, wherever I am, if you got a little bit of talent and I see it, I come sniffing around like, hey, you want to go in the studio? What you act? What you do? You singing? So that's how it was. All the kids, all the teens, all the youth, like, oh, you play guitar? Let me take you into the studio real quick. So I think that's where I really was doing good work. Is probably more in that realm, more in the singer-songwriter, 5 white guys and guitars is what I call it sometimes.
Hey man, listen, we get it how we know. So let me ask you, do you find that working across multiple disciplines helps you mentally, or does it ever feel overwhelming?
Well, that's a good question, man. That's a great question. And I thought I was going in one direction, and now I'm thinking about going in the exact opposite direction. So one thing, so right now, the world is kind of like really ADHD, we say, quote unquote, but just kind of like, you know, short attention spans. Everybody's doing a million things. We say we are, what's that thing where you're doing a bunch of things? I can't think of it right now.
Wearing multiple hats?
Yeah, sure. And so I was always like that. Juggling is really good. Since I was 6 years old, I'll never forget being 6 years old, and my dad got me on computers early and had me coding and stuff a little bit. So, but at 6 years old, I have the headphones on, I have the computer, I have the TV, I have the food, I have an audio book. I was always kind of like that. And so I do have one of those minds where if I'm not doing all these things, it's just not enough for me. Like, you know, I'm going to write the script. I'm going to practice the saxophone. I'm going to go outside and take some photos. I'm contacting people about whatever. I kind of need that. And that definitely helps me 100%. The other piece of that is not good for me now is that once you can do everything, and especially people know you can do everything, you end up having to do everything. And it's kind of like
overwhelming.
And that's what's happening to me lately. Like I find myself all the time, whether it's my own play or my own movie, or I had a job last year and we had this big, just like a fancy opening night thing. And I was told that I was like a special guest as like one of the senior director people and yada, yada, yada. I didn't even know what was going on. I wasn't part of the plan. I wasn't doing anything. And this happens to me a lot in all of my jobs, actually. But halfway through the night, these young people coming up to me. I was trying to avoid them. Like, what do they want? And they were like, yeah, they said you the sound guy. And I was like, I guess I am, because I didn't hear that. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was going to be music. and so that kind of stuff gets overwhelming. Like I'm over here trying to have a glass of champagne with the directors and the board and stuff. And now I'm setting up guitars and mics. And that gets to be a thing. Or when you're in a group and there's a lot of people that can help, but you realize like, wait, they don't know how to do it. They can't coil cables. They can't patch the cords. They don't know how to set a mic or anything. They don't know what phantom power is. So it's on me. That part has gotten overwhelming. And I'm still looking to find partners and people to partner with so that I'm not the person doing all the different things that has to do all the different things.
Absolutely. Hey, man, listen. The great thing about it is you've become the Liam Neeson of film. I have a unique set of skills.
That's hilarious. I never thought of it that way, but I'm probably gonna steal that and use it in some way now.
Just a great way to look at it on the bright side, you know?
Yeah. Making phone calls.
All right. So role does emotional resilience play in completing a long-term creative project?
Yeah, that's like, man, that's good. Like, I couldn't define emotional resilience, but I mean, I get the concept too. And that, in a nutshell, is what it is. Because the resilient part, and I mean, I guess there's both pieces. It is a roller coaster. It is ups and downs. It is coming back. It is looking forward to the next day. It is not getting beat up. I probably have like just an infinite amount of stories. So one thing I can say is that sometimes or often I work with people who are not in the field. Like somebody wants to do their first movie or their first track, song, whatever. I'm working with some younger, like a band right now. And they don't really get that process. I try to tell people, I try to let them know up in front, hey, things are going to break down. The microphones that have always worked, they're not going to work when you need the microphones. Everything we got the budget perfect, it's going to cost more money. All you people here now, a few of you going to quit. And so you got to be prepared for that. And that's that kind of resilient part, because you get down, you get mad, you get sad, you get depressed. You think it's never going to happen. And so you need it. You need that resilience. And you also, I think when you've been through it a lot, and I do love working with people who've been through it a lot, because we all have the same stories. We just kind of look at each other, we smile, we laugh, we know. We've been through some stuff. One of those things that I learned is like, hey, it may not happen now. Doesn't mean it's never going to happen. Doesn't mean it's never going to happen. And you got to be okay with like putting it to the side for now. And maybe this happens a year from now. Maybe it happens 7 years from now, but it's okay. That doesn't mean forever. Another thing that happens all the time is like, it may not be what you imagine. It may not be exactly what you wanted. And by the way, for me, it never has been. Not even close. One of the reasons the box isn't available like widely right now is because I just didn't get the location I wanted. So it just doesn't look the way I want. I love the dialogue. I love the performances, but the look of it just isn't it. And for me, I just don't want an audience to see that and be like, oh, it doesn't look right, when I know it doesn't look right. But that's okay. I can shoot the movie again. I can shoot other movies. I can use it to build stuff. It won a ton of awards. It got in a bunch of festivals, all that's on the resume. And we keep going and we keep pushing. So, I think that is crucial. And a lot of people don't have that. And I think it comes with time. And I think a lot of other fields aren't like that. You know, a lot of other fields, it's like, yes or no. You know, I don't know anything about like that corporate world. And I was telling a friend recently, like, I don't even know what they do in offices. I see like white dudes in suits with briefcases. They go to offices. I have no idea what happens there. but I know that world seems to be a lot more like binary, like ones and zeros, like it is or it isn't.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah. I know nothing about that. I don't know what they do. But our world doesn't work that way. And it's always hard for those people to like work with us, like creatives and stuff, because that's just not how it is. Like people show up late, they feel the day, like, you know what, we were gonna shoot this, but I'm feeling wet. We're gonna shoot the pool scene. And those guys are like, what? We prepared for this? Like, bro, that's just not how it goes. So yeah, I think that's key. I'm gonna steal that one too. Being emotionally resilient. That'll be my speech, my next cast. I got a great example. Actually, we had a play at a festival, my play, last fall, and all the lights went out in Baltimore. The power went out in the city of Baltimore. So we're like, okay, so this thing is over. I get a text from the festival director like, yeah, we canceling nothing. We're going to do it with no lights.
So how did you make it work?
Right. My show in particular, it's not just even lights. We're by far the most tech show because it's me. So we got the lights, we got projections, we got music, we got sound effects, and then like no lights. So, and nobody wants to, there's no AC. There's nothing.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. There's no internet. There's nothing. So I one thing happened. I just happened to have bought some little like $2 battery powered lights, and I never do that. And I rushed them. I just did it to like have backstage, and I was like, look at that. Things happen for a reason. So I got like 5 of these lights. I got this LED light that's just been magnetized to my refrigerator for years that I just won't throw away. And I was like, 6 light. Then I sent a message to everybody. I was like, if anybody got like a Bluetooth speaker that you can charge and bring it, bring it. And the one woman contacts me. She's like, yeah, I got a Bluetooth speaker. Boom. Got a laptop with charging the laptop. And everybody's like moping and crying. And we can't even see to get in the basement to get the set stuff to bring it up there. And I'm like, everybody's cell phone flashlights on right now. We doing this. And they were trying to say, hey, we can't do it. And we got to do it in this little room. We got to end this. I was like, nothing changes. Everybody to the space. The show must go on. I'm ready. We're going to do it. Yeah.
The
so
grind doesn't stop. The show must go on.
And we had our biggest and best show. Like the chairs, they kept bringing chairs in. It was the biggest audience and it was the best show. And that's how those things always tend to be. And everybody was hot and sweaty and it really worked out. And I was really proud of everybody. It really came together. It was a good job. So it was my favorite show of that run for sure.
Gemar, let's talk about burnout. Have you ever faced creative burnout? And how did you overcome it?
Wow. So I for sure would say yes. I would say burnout is easiest way for me to think about burnout and saying that I faced it and maybe overcame it is in the theater space, as in live theater, which is what I worked in primarily for the last 7 years. I mean, I do a film here and there. I'm going to try to produce 1 or 2 this year for sure. But as far as who's paying my bills, is some community theater or professional theater locally. And theater is a beast. It is the worst. And people don't know that. I always say, like, you do not want to know how the sausage is made. You go and you see The Wiz or The Wizard of Oz or Hamilton, and it's all fun, and you think you want to do it. You don't want to know what happens behind the scenes.
Yes, it's a big production that goes behind the scenes, folks. They work hard.
It is. Yes, it is. Not only is it a big production, but you might be talking about 40, 50, 60 people. Maybe none of them are getting paid. The people who are getting paid might be getting small stipends. And it's only in theater where I've consistently worked 13-hour days, 16-hour days, 17-hour days, 60-hour weeks. You drive the U-Haul. It's heavy lifting. It's more heavy lifting you'll do anywhere else in your life. And we always like to joke, like, you know, there's a lot of giant muscle guys who lift weights and play football and stuff like that. You ain't lifted till you theater lifted. When they come into the theater space and have to like lift stuff like we lift and go up and down stairs and hang it over a stage, it's a different type of life. It's different muscles that you've never used before. So yes, burnout in theater, yes. And in a way, I want to say like I failed because I've had so many different theater jobs. I think I've had 5 theater jobs in 7 years. So maybe every time I get burned out, I'm like, peace. But in all of those jobs, I've been basically like second in command. I'm production director, technical director, production manager, and pretty much I only answer to the executive director. So, I mean, I have a lot of power and a lot of say. So I'm always trying to guide those conversations. We're always trying to prevent burnout. And one of those things that I'm trying to teach people is like, we can get to the ultimate goal, whatever that is, without killing everybody.
Right.
We can get there with like 50% of the effort you think we need to put into this. Like, so what is the end goal?
You handle it though.
Yeah.
Tell me that. It's a good thing that you care about your folks.
Yeah.
How do you prevent yourself from burning out?
Yeah, well, I would say now, and I've had bosses say this to me, and I'm glad, especially in this sort of more left-leaning, liberal, empathetic space, everybody's understanding of taking a break, knowing your limit and saying, I have to take a break now. I have been in my past one of those people who would never say no. For a large part of my life, when I was much younger in college and post-college, I just worked myself to death. Learning when you get that feeling like, hey, my hand's shaking, I'm tired, I haven't eaten today. I've worked 21 days straight without a break, which did at my first theater once. Being able to step back and go like, I need a break. Or like, I'm sick.
We are there right now together because I have worked 21 days straight without a break. Literally. And I literally just got told by my cousin earlier today on the phone, like, cuz, take a break. And I'm like, nah, wait till the middle of June.
Yeah. And I do that. We all do that. That's what my bosses would say sometimes. They'd be like, well, can't you just go another week? And, you know, again, when I was younger, I'd be like, yeah, I can make it the next Wednesday. Not anymore. I'm like, no, I need this now, right now. I don't like this dude, but it's a good example. Adam Carolla, the kind of comedian podcast host dude, he said something that I think about a lot, and it's real, and everybody needs to know this, that I'll make his long story short. But he likes to take a nap before he goes and does a show, and he has to have his nap. And if he doesn't have his nap, he just is not as good. And anything, no matter what's going on, he's going to stop and go take his nap. It is important. And it doesn't matter what people say, it's nap time. And so I take that from him. Like, I don't care what you're saying right now. I need that, whatever that break is for me, which might be a day off, 2 days off, 3 hours off. I need to go have a nice dinner with my friends and family. But we got to do that. And I'm going to be way better. I'm going to come back rejuvenated and excited. But that's it. It's just knowing those limits, listening to your body, taking those breaks, drinking water. I drink way more water now than I ever did in my life. I think it makes a big difference. Brother. Yeah. All that health stuff, I'm taking the health stuff way more seriously than I ever did in my life. You know, it's important to try to get to that gym, or like now, even though I have a car, I'm still walking as much as possible. When I'm only going a mile and a half to a gig, I'm walking to the gig. All those things matter, you know, getting to sleep. When I know I'm not getting sleep, when I was younger, I would not get sleep and just keep working. Today, when I don't get sleep, I say, I didn't sleep. I can't come in. I got to get these hours. I used to work out my max. Well, I have 2 bad maxes. I should. One, I don't remember when that was, but in those young ages, like right post college, my first big technical director job, I didn't sleep for 4 days one time. 0 sleep. And yeah, I won't do that anymore. That'll never happen. Now I'll be like, whatever we need to do, I'm gonna go get about 17 Ambiens, but I'm about to sleep. I'm not coming to work. So I think that's it. Just knowing your body, listening to your body, and all those things that all the professionals probably say.
Yeah, man. Rest is definitely important. And I try to tell myself that, you know, my wife, she's constantly in my head, like, baby, you need to take a break. Relax, even on my days off. Like tomorrow will be my day off, right? First thing she's gonna say when I get up is get out the phone and relax. But I know that I have flyers to make or something else to do, you know, as far as for the next episode. Right. You know, so yeah, you know, work is work.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do have to realize that we have to sit back, take that time to really relax our mind, relax our body, feed ourselves, read, do something that will give us some stimulation outside of what we do.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah, it's important. All right, so here's my next question. All right. Is there a particular project that helped you heal or cope with personal challenges?
That is interesting, and I like the way you put it: heal or help with personal challenges. And I might have an answer to that, maybe, and I'm probably going to go ahead and use that answer. That same play that I was telling you about from last year, it's called Love for Real, and it is loosely based on my life. I say loosely based because people will watch it and hate me. It's like, hey, that's a character. That's a character in a play. That's not actually me.
Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so the show is about this one guy, Mario, and you see 20 years of Mario's life and the 3 biggest love interests of his life. So like these 3 different women that he dated over 20 years. And so you see him from a 19-year-old to a 39-year-old. and all the ups and downs and this is kind of something that I do a lot in any story that I'm telling. It's going to be real. I'm very anti Hollywood 6-year-old 6th grade storytelling of like happy endings and beginning, middle, end, and just like the way they teach storytelling. I want things to be entertaining while also being as real as possible, stuff that we can relate to. And so my protagonist isn't like squeaky clean good guy and everything's just not clean and easily resolved. But writing that play, and probably writing a lot of stuff that I write, but that play probably number one, I have to go and revisit and rethink and try to make the like villains from my life. Maybe nobody, I don't know if that's true, is all villain. Like most people aren't. Right. Most people aren't all hero, right? So right. I think that helps a lot for me going through those plays and going through my notes and thinking about these people and things they said and the things they did and seeing it from their perspective and remembering all the things they said. And, there's like a woman that I probably hated for 10 years. And then once I go through that process of bringing that character to life or whatever, it's like you really see the humanity. Yeah.
For real.
yeah, basically. And I made sure to include that and really amp that up. That was kind of that was a lot of it is like, oh yeah, you messed that up. You could have done that better or differently or whatever. And a lot of people did get that out of that. Some people didn't get that, but a lot of people did walk away with that. Like, that whole look at you, look inside and what could you have done differently? That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. It's good to have that realization about yourself, and art sometimes gives you self-reflection.
For sure, definitely.
It does for me in my music, man. Listen, I'm a rapper, and a lot of the times with certain types of songs that I make, it'll reveal certain things about myself that I didn't really deal with. And that's the good thing about I'm sorry, I'm tongue twisted. That's the good thing about being a writer. You're journaling your life experiences. Even when you put them through the wire or you put them through the screen. So it makes it easier for you to cope with yourself even when you're in the wrong.
I like that.
It makes it a whole lot easier for you to deal with things that you were wrong about. Now, the hard part about that, I would say, is addressing those people that you've wronged. And letting them know I was wrong. Some people might want to talk to you because they already knew that. But, it's hard to deal with that.
Yeah. If I ever produce a play again, it's getting produced again, I'll let you know about that, because the play does get into that. At least one of the people, that's what the character does is reaches out to them and make that connection and that apology and exactly what you said. I was wrong. That's literally the line from the play. Like the first line he speaks to her. I was wrong.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I would definitely love to see it sometime. All right, so let's talk about behind the scenes pressure. What mental toll, if any, comes with being the person behind the scenes who's expected to make everything work?
Yeah, man, another good question that I've never had addressed to me, and I haven't thought. I mean, I feel it, I know it, but I've never thought it through. And one thing that I know, this is a specific thing that's happening, I think, today and in my life and in our current world of entertainment, media, live performances. One pressure is that people are talented, people are smart, people are educated.
Sure.
And even though people don't necessarily say it, there is a little bit of, why are we following you? How did you get that position? Why are you the boss? Why are you the leader? You're not a better writer than me. You're not a better actor. You're not a better speaker. You're not a better director. You're not a better. And if you're going to step up and say, I'm the person, I got all the degrees, and like every day that I step up to do anything in this world, I have to prove myself. And that is pressure. And I don't mind making mistakes. I'm not, I don't have a problem with it. Like, you make a mistake, like, yeah, I made a mistake. I'm human. We make mistakes. But if you say like, hey, I can direct, I can write, I can work this camera, I'm a top tier audio mixer, then you got a bunch of people that can do that stuff standing there with their arms crossed, like waiting and watching you. Like, yeah, let's do that. That is pressure. That is a very specific pressure that I've faced now for the last how many ever years. Because when you're 20, 22, 23, whatever, people kind of know, like, I mean, he's good, he's talented, but he just got out of school and he's trying to figure things out. And everybody's like older than you and they're trying to give you hints and stuff. But at some point, you're that person. And you're the one like trying to mentor the 22-year-old intern or whatever. And they're looking at you like, you gotta show me something. I think for me to sort of tamp down that pressure so that I don't explode or it doesn't bother me mentally, I'm not tossing and turning at night, because I am one of those people, like a lot of us. Like, you go to bed and you think you're going to bed and then boom, your eyes are up and you're just like, I should have told her this. Why didn't I tell her that? Oh man, and next thing you know, it's 4 a.m. or whatever. So
that literally was me today. Well, last night rather.
Right.
And I didn't go to bed until probably about 7, 8 this morning.
That's wild. Spoiler alert. That is my next film. I will be shooting that film soon. So that's interesting. But I believe it. I know, because even I've been in this world a little bit for a little while, that it is all very similar. Like, that's why I always say in media, entertainment, live performances, it's a very similar grind, hustle, mindset. And I was just saying, I guess how I deal with that, though, is like honesty. And it's crazy. Like, so I don't have any of that, which I might have when I was younger, maybe. But any of that, like, there's no BS with me. And a lot of people love that. I don't fake it at all. Like, if there's just some new piece of gear that everybody's using and I should know, and they're like, oh, we got the new Trinitron 3000. You know how to do that, right, Gemar? I'll be like, bro, I ain't never heard that in my life. I don't know what that is. Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, I can Google it. I can learn it real quick probably, but I don't know what that is. I don't have to fake it. And I'm still going to make it.
I'm the same way when it comes to software with the music,
Yeah.
All of the software is not the same, contrary to belief. A lot of people think a lot of the software is exactly the same. No, there's different kinks and twists to it that you got to figure out. And once you figure it out, then you're good. But there's that process that you have to go through of learning it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I dig it. I understand. All right. So let's talk about hometown a bit. Tell the people about where you're from.
Oh yeah, I didn't say that at the beginning. This is an interesting story because I was actually born and grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. For most of my life, I never told people that, ever. And the reason I didn't say it when I was younger is because, especially as a young person, you're like 19, 18, 25, whatever. Like, what people thought of me was very important. It still is important, to be honest. And when you're coming from the South and coming from a city that's not Atlanta, Chicago, New York, and you're trying to make it in this industry, people do judge you and they do put you down and all that kind of stuff and have different thoughts. At least they did. I think things are changing a bit now, a little bit, because with the internet, especially social media specifically, we see talented people from everywhere now. But it wasn't like that 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you kind of had to be from LA, New York, and then there were a couple of other smaller markets that they cared about. And I've been in the rooms with people from like networks and stuff and listen to the jokes about people from the South and stuff. And so I was from Atlanta, and it wasn't crazy because a lot of us from Jacksonville, we're always there. We're visiting there. We got family there. I was there as a teenager. It's kind of where I became me. So I was just, when I was in LA, I was from Atlanta. When I was in Denver, I was from Atlanta. And it's only recently that I've kind of reclaimed my, like, I'm from Jacksonville roots, because I am who I am now. I've done enough. I've done enough work. I got enough education. Yeah. And it's still true. And you can still Google me and see born in Jacksonville. Right. So, And so the thing about, you asked me a little bit about growing up in Jacksonville and my roots and stuff. A lot of people don't know. I mean, we people generally in this country, we argue and debate a lot about what's a city and what's not a city. And I mean, Jacksonville is a city. It's a million people population wise.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a city. But a lot of people don't know that. It's got an NFL team. It's got it's the largest city land area wise in the country, or was for a long time, still might be. But again, we watch TV, we watch videos, music, whatever. And for the world, America really is like LA, New York. But that's actually not what America is. Most of America is like cornfields and small towns and stuff. And Jacksonville is very far from that. And that's kind of why it was hard for me to say I'm from Jacksonville, because like, don't put me in the cornfields or whatever. That's not what life was like. It was very urban life, and urban, however, whatever that means now. I know that's not like a real thing, but like city, I mean, black, it was very...
Let's say it like it is.
Yeah. I am from the north side of Jacksonville, which, when I grew up was in the top 4 most crime in the country, so all the drugs, all the gangs, all the violence, gunshots behind my house all the time. Everybody is dead or in jail or slanging dope or whatever. And I never had like problems. I never did anything personally, but like the dude I was in Boy Scouts with before we got to high school was in jail for murder. And that was how I grew up for sure. And I don't know what to even say more about that experience. I'm glad I grew up in a city. I'm glad it's a city that had a lot of different sort of things. Like we have all that, but if you talk to other people, like people with money and in particular white people, they know a different Jacksonville. They're going to tell you about like the beaches, the golf, the tennis.
We're out here. Room for cars. Just had caviar.
Every time I meet somebody, because I meet people who are either from there or visit there a lot, and they always start talking about Ponte Vedra and Amelia Island and St. Augustine. It's like, I know all those places. That's not where I grew up. But it is all that too, and I do appreciate growing up in a place like that. I never really went back, moved back, because like with what I do, there is no way for me to go there. And I shouldn't say there's no way. I take it back. But it doesn't have the industry of like a LA or an Atlanta where I can go plug in and make a movie or plug in and make an album. It's hard. Like I couldn't even get people to come out and audition when I was there years ago. So this is a different thing. That's a place where you go and work in a factory. It's a big industrial city. You can open a restaurant or work at a surf shop. But it's going to be a little bit tougher if you're trying to build your own entertainment company.
All right. So let's talk about that. Industry and identity. Being someone with experience in law, media, and music, do you find it mentally taxing to switch identities so often?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, mentally taxing, but the specific taxing that it is, man, this is actually, I'm going to take me a little break tonight. The specific taxing that it is kind of how people see you or perceive you, right? So a lot of people, I don't have a license to practice law. I never sat for the bar, but I do have a JD. And so a lot of people just can't see me as a lawyer or lawyer type, but I was very good, like amazing in the courtroom, amazing writer, amazing researcher, and would have been a damn good lawyer and probably still could be. And it's just hard for people to see me in that light if they meet me pushing the faders on a audio board. And it goes the other way too. Like if you meet me in some like office job reviewing contracts, it's hard for people to think like, oh, that dude's going to write our script.
Right.
And so for me, it is like this constantly proving that, as you said, I'm Liam Neeson. Like it's weird, it's unusual, but I've done a lot of things. I got a lot of skills, and I am a legit writer. I am a legit legal or policy analyst. I am a legit like host of a show. I can operate the camera with anybody. And so it's like this constant like pressure to prove myself. And I'm feeling like, bro, I've been doing this stuff my entire life. When do I get to stop proving myself? So that is something that I deal with at that level kind of a lot. Or and basically I am whatever you need me to be, and not in some kind of weird way, but like tomorrow, if somebody says like, hey, we know you don't do law stuff anymore, but we got a perfect job for you, it pays 6 figures. I'm lawyer Gemar. Yeah. Like I'm lawyer Gemar. I probably won't make those 2 movies this year. And so there's pressure.
That money, go fund that movie that you're trying to get to.
There you go. That's how it works. That's exactly right. So yeah, it is pressure and it is stressful, but it's also like I am fortunate that I can swap the hats too.
Hey man, that's awesome. So talk a little bit more about going to law school. What was that like? Tell us about the school you went to and what it was like for you.
Sure. That's a whole other show. If you ever do something like on schools or something, let me know. But because law school is a beast. Like people, actually, it's one of those things that if you're not in it and you don't have somebody close to you in it, you don't know. So I'm not sure, but I think there's like 3,000 law schools in the country, and they're like all ranked, and that matters a lot. It matters in school, but it matters maybe most in law school. And so I did go to a top tier school. They were ranked about 40th when I got there. I went to the University of Arizona in Tucson, which I regret a little bit now. So bear down for everybody that's into that. Go Wildcats. But I just happened to be there because I was there in AmeriCorps for a few years, and I got into the school and I was already living there and I can get in-state tuition and all that. So that's why I went there. And it's probably the place I should have been. But every day I kick myself that I didn't go to Harvard or the University of Virginia, because I just never really got that if you go to those schools, you write your own ticket. Like you go to Princeton, Harvard, Ivy League, whatever, Stanford, you write your own ticket. And here I am out here still kind of grinding, and I don't want to be grinding. I want to be Barack Obama.
Yeah, you wanted to be with the elite of the elites.
Yeah, and so I do kick myself like once a day about that, and probably about once a year I think about going back to get some other degree at an Ivy League school or some school that like I will be writing my own ticket. But the other thing about law school, like everything in this country, I know I've brought up race a few times. Boy, race is a thing, man. Like there's 156 students in my class, and 4 of us were Black. And that's in the United States in 2013 or whatever. So that's weird, right? And then there is the elitism, right? And this is a very common thing throughout college, especially law school or any like grad schools, medical school. When you get like the white people, they typically going to have money. They typically have parents and uncles and aunts who are lawyers or who are rich or something. And when you get the people of color, because it was Black, but we also had indigenous people. We also had Latino people. A lot of us come from poor backgrounds. We don't have the parents, the uncles, the money, the knowledge. A lot of times they've already been working in law firms. They've went to other fancy schools. They're getting their 3rd degree. They already have doctorates. They already had other careers doing something else where they already made a lot of money. And it is just this gap that you can feel and sense all the time, and one that's really tough to close. And so for me, whenever I'm in any environment, I lean on all the things we're talking about, like, who I am. So first day of law school, I got a job with a professor as like the video guy. And that just kind of got me an in because now I'm really close to this professor who's from Harvard, and he's new there too. And it ended up leading to me teaching law classes and just kind of people knowing me and blah, blah, blah. The second thing is that since I've been a performer my whole life, I was an actor, I was a host, I did all the training, stuff like that. It immediately made me like one of the top oralists. So even if my grades were terrible, if we get in the courtroom, you going down. Everybody knew it. It was just like, oh, Gemar's here.
This is the speaker here. He's going to come in and shut it down.
Every time. And all the lawyers, all the professors, and I feel a little bad that I didn't go on to do law because they would be like, man, we cannot wait to see you in the courtroom because it's over.
That's awesome.
And just, again, my personality, charisma that comes from that. So that I ended up leading a lot of organizations. I ended up winning a lot of contests, oral contests, written contests. So again, I'm bringing all of me into it. And every time I would do that, the lawyers would always be like, have you done this before? And it's like, I have not, but like, I got this background to pull on. And so that's what it was for me. It was like trying to figure out how I can be me and succeed or excel in this world that wasn't really meant for me, wasn't written by me, is not really accommodating to me, and how can I make it through? And I think I did a decent job, and it's not over, right? It's not over. One day that's gonna come in handy beyond just like reviewing contracts, I'm pretty sure.
Oh man, that's awesome. I think you're gonna do great no matter what you're doing, and what you're doing now is great, which is why I wanted you on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So let's talk about Townsend Entertainment and your vision for it. What inspired you to create Townsend Entertainment, and what was mental health? What was the mental health part of that vision?
Yeah. So this is my third. There's a word I can't think of, but this is my third sort of business venture, and I wouldn't say that any of them were failed businesses, although they don't exist now. But the first one, which Townsend is kind of like my first one. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want people to go out there and find it, which is whatever. I got a song on the radio, had an album. We did some songs and stuff, but it was more like a record label. And and it was kind of smart the way I did it. Like I do all the things. It was just like, I will do whatever in the music audio realm, and doing that to support this like record label. I'm managing artists. I'm doing music videos. We're performing locally, but also I'm like recording a middle school band concert, and I'm taking that $500 from that gig and rolling it over into this artist so that we can get posters to put up at the venue or whatever. And I think everything was great. I was very young. I started it when I was probably 21, 20 or something like that. And the only mistake, if I made a mistake there, was that at 24 years old or whatever, I was like, I'm ready. I'm moving to Hollywood. I'm going to blow up. I moved to LA. I moved back 3 months later, and I was in grad school after that. And it just everything just kind of fell apart after that. LA wasn't as easy for me to make it into, I mean, it's LA. We all know between LA and New York, we know the grind, we know what it takes, or we have some idea of that. I got some LA stories one day too, if you ever have me back or whatever, but
I'm definitely having you back.
That's fine. I didn't even know I would have this much to say, but so Townsend is like the expansion explosion of that. And then my next company too, which is out there, which is more I think I told you just personally one-on-one. I did the whole media site post law school for 10 years with a podcast and staff and interns and op-eds and pop culture and all that. So Townsend is kind of like all of this stuff under one banner. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm back producing music. I'm filmmaking. I'm producing plays, website, all the media entertainment content, everything that I've done in my life under one banner. And I know I can't do this alone. So this is me trying to get this steam going, build the steam or whatever, and get some other people on board, where at some point we'll have a theatrical division or a live theater division, and we'll have a film division, and we'll have a this and we'll have a that. So right now I'm just doing what I can do. And so I'm like getting whatever photography gigs, whatever video gigs. I'll be producing my films. And similar to what I did years ago with the first project, is taking that money and rolling it over to keep building and building and building. I just bought another camera today. I got 3 cameras now, and we just keep growing and growing and growing. And fingers crossed that a year or two from now, it is something that people are proud of, people recognize, people are like, oh, you definitely want to see that play. That's a Townsend production. So that's fingers crossed that's where we're headed.
Oh, that's cool. So what do you have in store right now? Like, what approach does your leadership compare to then and now?
I think that's a good question.
How do you handle the mental wellness in mind for your team? Because you were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
How you try to make sure they're straight more than yourself.
Sure.
Let's elaborate a bit more on that.
Yeah, that's tough stuff. That's big. I think one thing I noticed, there's a question, you might ask it, I don't know, because I saw it in another podcast of yours, and I was just like, that's a question. But this hints at whatever question I'm thinking of, is that it's about getting the right people together. That's the mistake. If I have a mistake, because I never say mistakes or regrets, because I don't know what my life would have been had I gone another way. I don't know. But what I would say is that it's really about people and relationships generally. Everything. Like, to me, that's the answer for everything, is like people and relationships. When I was younger, what I thought, and I kick myself every day, but you can't know it when you're young. If anything, I'm upset that nobody else could tell me this when I was a teenager or 21. It was just like, I'm going to be better than everybody. I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to be faster. I'm going to be better educated. And because I'm so great, everybody's going to love me. I'm going to be a billionaire. That was what I would have thought when I was 21, 17, whatever. And what I noticed as I got older and actually worked through life is that what matters is the relationships you build along the way. Is people caring about you, trusting you, loving you. And when I was in the studio alone all night long, 16 hours grinding, making the best track ever, nobody was there with me. Nobody was laughing and joking and getting to know me and understand me. People would invite me to parties and stuff all the time, and I never went. And my thought process back then was like, losers. While they're out there partying, I'm in here grinding. But at those parties, people are making those connections, they're signing the deals, they're building things. And I think that's the biggest difference from me then to now, is that I will allow myself to take that break, to have that party, to have that drink. I didn't drink when I was younger. And that was just like, so much of it is like having a beer and discussing your next project or whatever. So taking that break, but also trying to find that team, which I always believed in, and trusting those people and realizing that it's really more about having people that trust you, people that you trust, people that you love or they love you. And that thing is going back and forth. Right here in Baltimore, there's a few people right now, a few friends of mine that I trust and trusted anything. Anytime I have a project, I'm calling them. There's a couple women that have worked for me at everything I've done, plays, movies, festivals, and that's it. They got to trust me and know me, and they know when they see it's a Gemar project or a Townsend Entertainment production or whatever, like, that's legit. Like, he's going to take care of you. He's going to pay you, even if he has to pay you out of his own pocket. He's going to feed you. It's going to be a professional environment. If you need to take a day off, he's going to give you that day off. And the way I'm treating them is the way I treat myself, and in the way they treat me, and everybody's respecting everybody. And I don't need to be the smartest one in the room, and I don't need to do everything, and I don't need to go get another degree or anything, but really focus on making and creating, maintaining those real relationships with people. I think is the easily the biggest difference from me 20 years ago to today. Wait a minute, I didn't lose you, did I? Uh-oh. Huh. I don't hear anything. I still got a live counter on my end. I hope that I'm still on, or is he still on? I don't know what to do here. I'm gonna give it. Oh, let me see if he's texting me or anything. That's what I can check. Nope. Matic. Oh, there's a chat in the thing. All right, so I'm gonna check the chat right now. I'm only talking in case people. It says hold on. All right, cool. I think it. All right, you
There
there?
we
Right?
go. There
Okay.
we go.
All right.
Sorry about that, folks. We was having a little technical difficulties. All of a sudden, this thing just started acting funny. This is back to what we were talking about. Sometimes software can act funny, and I had to figure it out. And just like Gemar, I figured it out.
No worries. I hope whatever I said came through, and if it didn't come through, trust me, it was the greatest thing anybody's ever said.
It went through on their end, so they received it. It's just that it kind of kicked me out for a second, and I'm like, huh? What happened?
Yeah, okay,
So
cool.
We
cool,
here
cool.
now. We're back.
All right. Well, we good. We good.
Okay. 2 more questions.
All right.
What are your go-to mental health practices or daily habits that keep you grounded?
Yeah, that's good. And you said daily too. So I am not in therapy right now, but I am a big believer in therapy. So, and that wouldn't be daily. It was weekly every time I've done it, and I've done group therapy before, and that would be something I would be into for sure if I had it. So I'm not doing that right now because our healthcare system is what it is. But one thing I'm doing right now, I might have mentioned it earlier, like 2.5 years ago, I picked up saxophone again. And that is just everything to me right now.
How long you been playing?
So I've been playing on and off for like almost my entire life. But I've had these long breaks and I never took it seriously. It was like I was a music industry major, among other things. And you had to play an instrument. And I was like, well, I play saxophone, but I never took it seriously. Only recently have I started taking it seriously. And it's the love of my life. And that every day, making sure I get that hour practice in every day, whether I'm playing scales, long tones, or ballads, or working on something for a group I'm in or whatever, that is everything. It is that creative process, that thing, hearing yourself get better. Even I got a note over here right now. The neighbor's always telling me I sound good. That is a lot. That means almost everything. And then the other thing, which I wouldn't say that it's a thing everybody says, and I only recently will I say that I kind of get it, is that health piece. That because I do have the Planet Fitness membership, and there's one in my neighborhood, and I do go not as often as I should, and I don't go daily, but I'm gonna do something daily. Like even today, I got a dumbbell in here. I've already lifted that, so I'm gonna do some stretching. I got into martial arts. I'm only not because I got injured. So I was doing karate. That's a huge one. But I'm going to do something active almost every day. So the karate, walking, Planet Fitness, my whatever stretches I'm doing for my different body things or whatever, lifting the dumbbell. But there's going to be something active. Another thing I've done in the past, which is huge and in the same world, is I love sports. And I mean, I didn't play that much as a kid. I mean, I did, but it was like varsity. I did track and that's it. And in college, I did intramural basketball. But I never played sports like at really competitive levels until I became an adult. And as an adult, I got real serious into football, basketball, tennis a little bit. And man, so anything active, and I'm not doing those sports right now. Karate kind of took its place. But if I can get into a basketball league, a football league, tennis, I do, that's almost daily. When I'm doing that, that's my tennis, basketball, football every other night. Boom, 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 boom. Games, practices, boom. Every night. So anything that's active and get that heart going is it's good. You know, you could have the worst day ever. You don't want to go, but you go and put yourself, make yourself do it. And after the game, win or lose, you come out that field feeling like a champion every time. So I would definitely say those are the two things for me.
What position you play in basketball?
So based on my height, I need to be a point guard. 5'11".
Okay, I'm 6'2".
Okay.
I might have a little height advantage there, sir.
Yeah, you definitely do. But luckily for me, because like when I was a kid, even though whatever, I'm not the greatest ball handler. I probably got better as I got older. So as a kid, I was a forward, small forward, power forward a little bit. I've lost a lot of weight recently, but I was getting kind of heavy for a bit. So I was over 200 for a little while, and it does help when you down low and you get up to 210, 215. But now I'm a skinny guy again, so I got to work on the handles again.
I hear that. All right. Last and final question. What advice would you give to young creatives who are struggling mentally but feel pressure to keep producing?
Oh, that's a tough one. Something just occurred to me, and it does connect to the project I'm working on, and I'm not even trying to promote that project. And I didn't create this, I stole it, but I guess this is in the Bible. I feel bad as somebody who was a former church worker. I don't know if this is in the Bible, but it's biblical in nature. That phrase, this too shall pass. And there's some like riddle. It is a riddle. That's something that you can say to a rich person to make their day worse, or to a poor person to make their day better. But it is something I think about a lot. And it is like kind of the title of my next movie I hope to produce pretty soon. And a way I look at it more specifically, other than this too shall pass, so that means no matter how hard things are, this period is going to end. And think about that. But something I tell people all the time, I actually tell people, especially younger people that I work with right out of college, 20-something-year-olds that are working on my movies and plays and events and stuff, is that one thing I do is I always think about a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a year from now, whatever. At some point, I'll be looking back on this. And I'll be looking back on this and I'll be smiling or laughing or saying how it wasn't that rough, or how I got through it, or telling the great story of how we got to that point. And no matter how bad things are or appear to be, because they could be really bad, I'm always thinking about, but what am I going to think 2 weeks from now? Because I'll make it to 2 weeks from now. I'll be there.
Yeah.
And what am I going to be thinking about today then? And just put yourself in that place. And that's kind of what keeps me going. And that's kind of what I would tell them, because it can be hard. You know, I went through that grind in school where I was working 2-3 jobs and an internship and taking 12 classes, 8 classes, 10 classes, all kind of crazy stuff like that. And you can't afford to eat, and you blah blah blah. It's like you're gonna make it, and you'll be telling this story one day to somebody else. And just think about there when you're there and looking back today, and that kind of keeps me going, knowing that this is going to end. This isn't a permanent thing. This is now.
Yeah. I feel you, man. There you have it, y'all. Germar Derron came on and gave us some gems. And listen, this was an awesome conversation, brother.
Very cool. I'm glad I did it. Thank you for having me on. I'm glad I responded. It was great.
Yes, I'm glad you came on, man. You definitely did your thing. And this was great for the people to hear, you know. And we're on 3 different time zones on the radio, so people will get it in Miami, people will get it in Colorado, people will get it in North Carolina. So,
very cool.
You know, I thank you for coming on. I will have you back on for Stirring the Pot. But before we do that, before we get off, I want to show a little bit of, you know, your work.
Okay.
You know, so let's do that a bit. And give me 1 second here. I'm going to give you the solo dolo cam, and I'm going to highlight some of your work. So give the people a little rundown of what they're looking at as I play.
Okay. Very cool.
All right. Let's get to it.
Since we've last made Sweet Lady Love. And
yeah. So this is We Want Some. I mentioned this earlier. The film produced by me in Los Angeles, 2016, I believe it might have been released. And it's basically the film that's about the guy who's just kind of frustrated with his wife that he's not getting any sex at home. And yeah, man, it's a great film. You definitely can check it out on YouTube. You can always contact me. I'm easy to get a hold of. You can't find it.
Okay. So let's go into the next one. Are all these the same?
Oh, it's 3 different clips for sure.
Okay.
3 different movies.
Let's show another one. We just showed that one. This is the box, folks.
Okay, very cool. Let's see. We're coming. Yeah. So the box I mentioned, this is one of those personal projects. This is the trailer from the box. It's about the 3 teenagers in therapy. Matter of fact, this is also the one I was telling you about, where I just didn't really like the location, and then just give me the look that I wanted. I imagine it being like wood grain, darker. I just really wanted to play with the emotion of the room a little bit more. And it's a lot of tight shots. I really wanted some wider, sweeping shots and stuff. But I still think it came out great. I think the dialogue's amazing. For this movie, I nominated and won some Best Writer, Best Story awards. And so I'm really proud of it. All these actors are kind of young, early, and first-time actors. And we got a Best Actor nomination. So this is a great success, though. The box.
Okay, and this last one is Randy.
Okay. So Randy's Canvas is I mentioned earlier.
I know what's good for me.
Young artists with autism.
It's not who I am. I'm just Randy.
And that for sure is available everywhere. Should still be on Amazon, definitely on YouTube, and probably some other places where you can see stuff. It's called Randy's Canvas. And this is also a bunch of people out of LA, but it was actually shot in Rhode Island. And there's some actors you should recognize. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure in that scene, that guy in the scene is an actor, like a TV actor. He was in the last Jumanji film, but a few people you might recognize in the movie as well.
Okay, so that's awesome. Listen, y'all, Germar Derron, thank you for coming on, bro. Turn your camera off, but don't hang up. I'm going to close the show with the folks real quick. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. This was an awesome conversation, an awesome episode. And on this Wednesday, Hump Day, we got through it. And we got some gems going. And I hope that you take what was said and have some encouragement. Once again, it's your boy Tigmatic. Today's episode was brought to you by Going In Radio, Hollywood TV, Hollywood Music, Hollywood Radio, Dollar Radio, and Going In Radio. Have a good night. Enjoy and be safe, y'all. Peace.
We coming in from the door, man.